goats. You can get goats, like, and they love poison ivy.
They love it.
And it's actually like cheaper than, it's not cheaper. That's a lie. But they'll go out and like eat all the poison ivy. And they've been doing it at like churches and schools, so they don't have to put like pesticides out there.
It's easier than getting it, like Suave.
Bring a goat.
Get a goat.
Poor thing. Is that the only place you got it on your hand? I feel like it could be everywhere if it's on your hand.
Bring Michael Jordan with you next time you go in the woods. This is Byron Lazine and Nicole White, and you are tuned in to episode 70 of The Real Word.
Word is up.
The word is up. Little sabbatical last week. Nicole does a lot of traveling now that she's big time. She's on like the local Fox affiliate all the time, informing people about the real estate world, taking trips down to Texas with St. Jude. They did the Hope House. It's tough to get her on a consistent Real Word schedule. So we're back this week.
Wow,
1 week off.
Wow. So where will we be next week? We won't be here next week.
Good call.
Yep, I know, because you're traveling.
We're gonna do she got me on that one. We're gonna do something for next week. I can guarantee, or maybe we'll do 2 this week.
Ooh, we could do an evening one again.
We could do an evening Friday.
Do a PM.
It'll be ready for Monday
with the black table. I like
Yeah.
the black table.
We're doing that.
Okay.
2 this week. 1 at the end of the week. All right.
Anyway,
we've got 3 topics, which we call our rackets. If episode 70 is your first show, the 3 rackets mean, do we think the topic happening, trending in real estate today is a racket or not? So we've got 3 of them for you. We're going to share those articles. Actually, there's 2 articles and 1 of our listeners or whatever. Listeners, whatever. It was listening or watching. I don't know if he listens or watches, but he was on Facebook, made a comment. That's racket number 2.
So he probably watched.
Probably watched, yeah. You're right. Although I will take some YouTube videos and just listen.
Oh, of course.
If they're not on a podcast, I'll be in the gym and I'll be listening to a YouTube video. The problem with that,
you're listening to a watch. You're listening to a video.
I'm listening to the video.
Yeah, most people just listen.
The problem with that is when you're in the gym, YouTube, when it's in your pocket, your leg will hit the screen. It'll jump to another video, and you're like, what the hell? Whereas a podcast, you can just play it. There's no interruption. Your phone screen can be off.
The only other thing that I don't like, too, about YouTube is that if it's not if you want to clear it to, like, check if someone text messages you, it pauses it and it goes away, so you can't do both at the same time.
That's the big advantage to listening to a podcast over.
You can just listen.
And
it's sort of like a Pandora. Like you could just like listen to the music and do other stuff. I'm a multitasker.
Yeah, you're a good multitasker.
I'm fabulous. I can nail that shit.
I'm the worst all the time.
Yes, you are.
All right, racket number 1. Boomerang buyers are back. So Nicole, why don't you?
Oh gosh, I'm on the spot.
Let everybody know what a boomerang buyer is, or do you want me to?
Yeah, go ahead. You tell.
All right. A boomerang buyer. This is a Realtor Mag
We
article.
went back. I felt like we were being a little neglectful. So
although there's a lot of good content right now on Inman, so I wouldn't. We don't have any Inman topics.
We don't
this week, but there's a lot of good stuff happening.
You think?
Yeah, there's a good one. I started reading from Brad Inman where.
Oh, Brad sent us an email.
He did send us an email. Thank you. Nicole was very pumped about that.
I was very excited. And then I got yelled at. I got reprimanded. I don't think Brad would like that very much.
You shared the email.
I know I did. I erased his phone number. It's not like I was giving out his phone number.
No, I think you're right.
I deleted the phone number.
So anyways, Brad had a good article about brokers not cooperating as much.
Oh, I breezed over that. You thought that was fun?
I thought it was interesting because there is definitely a war happening out there in the real estate world. I know that's an extreme word to use, but for market share. But to me, that's as always, right? That's always the case. All right, anyways, getting back to our racket today here on Realtor Mag, and we always link up the articles. Boomerang buyers are coming back in bigger numbers. And what a boomerang buyer is Americans who lost their homes to foreclosure or a short sale during the housing crisis. They are now re-emerging in the housing market and buying a home again. This is a report from USA Today.
Kind of makes my heart happy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you think about it, it makes sense, right? Because 2007, the start of this was 12 years ago now, right? So 08, 09 where people really got hurt.
Yeah.
10 where a lot of these foreclosures, started to really happen. That's been 10 years. It's been a decade. So rule of thumb, really, if you're, if you foreclose on a home is about 3 years, a little over 3 years. If you go straight bankruptcy, it's 7 years.
Right.
So I am actually a boomerang buyer because 19 to 21 bought 3 homes, lost everything by my mid-20s, went completely bankrupt, did buy a home, maybe it was even less than 7 years. It was right about 7 years when I bought that next home and have since sold it. So I guess I've already done the boomerang.
You boomeranged already.
I already boomeranged.
Yeah,
Does that mean I'm done?
You're done.
I'm done.
You're old.
Because next time I buy, it wouldn't
flopped.
count as the boomerang?
No.
It would just be a...
No. Because you already came back.
Came back.
Unless we threw you out again.
I never really liked the boomerang.
No.
Was that a thing?
No, I never did the boomerang. I do like, what's it called? Frisbee. But I don't boomerang.
Huh.
No. But I like boomerangs. I do those a lot. Like on Instagram.
Oh, got me there.
Yeah, I like boomerangs.
The boomerang app. So are you seeing this with buyers that you're working with? Have you seen this yet?
To be honest, I haven't seen it yet. No, I have
works
not.
with too many high-priced buyers.
No, that's not true at all. But look at the age group there too. So we were
primary age.
I think the next
35 to 64. That seems like
well, it's everybody. But I think that they were lately first-time home buyers. I think they were talking about ages.
First-time home buyers comprised 33% of all existing home sales.
So I guess it also sort of speaks a little bit to our market. I mean, there were obviously, I think what's very interesting here though too is that I also think that the foreclosures here in Connecticut were happening actually later than 2010. You're still seeing, in my mind, a substantial amount of foreclosures happening, or maybe they're just
not like then. From 2006.
No, I agree. I guess I'm just looking at like our pocket markets here because you're asking me about me and what's happening with me, I'm not seeing it, but I also don't think that those people have re-entered the market. Although I have found that if there was like a married couple, a husband sort of took the hit and then the wife was able to buy. So there were a few ways like that it was able to be manipulated a little bit there. But
well, there was a lot from 06.
I think there were a lot of people that held on. Like my husband and I held on. Like we held on.
Yeah, you guys are still renting a property.
We're still flipping holding on. But like a lot of people held on. Like it drove us. And
there was a lot of people that foreclosed.
Low. Yeah.
Right. So from 06 to 14, there was 7.3 million foreclosures and 1.9 million short sales. That's according to CoreLogic. So there was a lot of people that...
And short sales are quicker, though. Short sales, I think short sales were only like 2 years.
For example, the
so,
first house that I ever bought when I was 19 years old was a 2-family in Norwich, Connecticut. And I bought it, if you remember, certainly in Connecticut in 04, the market was absolutely insane. And in anything under $250,000 at that time, you're talking 10 offers. So I was looking at properties every day.
Well, and they were giving mortgages to I was in college still, and they were giving me a mortgage.
Anybody was getting a mortgage, and there was 10 offers on everything because I was only going to buy, a 2 or a 3 family. You had all these great loans. You had all these loan opportunities to do that. And anyways, it made a ton of sense for me in my situation to absolutely walk away from those 3 homes. For example, that Norwich house that I bought for $200,000 is worth less still today than $100,000. Everything on Boswell Ave, Hickory, all those streets, you're talking. We just looked one up. I was like, guy, you're at like $55,000-$60,000.
Yeah.
70, 80. If you're getting some consistent rental income. 90, 100,000.
I think that's the biggest problem is is trying to get
over
out
10
from
years
underneath.
Later.
I know. I trust me. I'm still trying to get out from underneath mine, and I still can't.
But your value has come back at least a little bit. It's not like it was that number.
No,
but you're not talking about over 100%.
No. That's true. I mean, I'm still probably down like $75,000. But what's super interesting though is that in other towns though, like. It is back.
there are some pockets that are back.
It is back, you know. So, but I guess the biggest problem there, though, too, is it's not even necessarily what the home is worth. It's the loan that we're in. I mean, I can't even get out from the loan that I wrote like 10 years ago because my equity is not there. So I'm on like a variable rate. We were paying interest only for so long. I mean, there's just no end in sight. So
the majority of homeowners that lost or Americans who lost their home to foreclosure say they want to buy again. So
I love it.
I don't think this whole...
They haven't given up on the home ownership.
No, this whole thing...
Look, you're talking about buying this year, too.
I know.
It's like there's something in the air. I love it.
Yeah, spring is in the air.
It's so
Everybody
good.
wants to buy real estate. I don't think this is a racket. We're seeing it. It's happening. I've done it. But you obviously don't think it's a racket that people should have the opportunity to buy again.
Oh, absolutely not. Yeah. No, come on now. I mean, the person I was 10 years ago or you were 10 years ago or even flipping 3 years ago, I mean.
Well, I think the banks need to be more cautious. They need to put the maybe
the
at
banks
times
were the problem to begin with,
of course.
Though. I mean,
of course, but
come
you still...
on. They've got to rewrite all their loans. We should be able to buy new homes.
But it takes two people to dance there, and so everyone's just got to be a little more responsible, I guess I'll say. All right. Racket number 2. And this is from a friend, I'll say, a listener or a watcher or just a fan of the show.
You have a friend now.
Jarek Longest. Sorry if I'm pronouncing anything wrong, Jarek.
He usually does.
Commented on a Facebook post of one of our past shows. Let's hear if Realtor.com consuming OpCity, which we've talked about that acquisition, and charging 30 to 35% for qualified leads on your own listing is a racket. So he'd like to know if you have a listing and it's on Realtor.com and they're going to now through OpCity, hey, we've got a buyer lead for you on your listing, 123 Main Street, Nicole, and we're going to take a 35% referral fee if you do business with this buyer lead. Is that a racket?
Well, okay, so I guess we just need to really quick step back because you're saying a qualified lead. So what makes the lead qualified? Are they pre-qualifying them?
OpCity is doing a pretty good job right now, and we've got some OpCity deals in the pipeline and some deals we've done this year.
Right.
They're doing a pretty good job of getting the people on the phone, making sure they're legit, asking a series of questions, and they are a higher percentage lead of setting the appointment, and they're qualified a lot of the times.
So do I think it's what are you asking me again?
Do you think it's a racket that they're charging you 35%?
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
This is Jarek, I don't want to beat you up here.
No, I mean, even through our own company, sometimes we have to pay a referral fee on our own listings if they are pre-qualifying them. I mean, gosh, if you're horrible at like what's that word?
If you're horrible at lead gen?
No, not generation, but flipping them over.
Converting?
Thank you,
Conversion.
What a beauty.
These are sales terms.
Come on, it was like a week in the sunshine. I'm back.
Jarek,
I would give 30% if I knew that my leads were of value.
Ready to go.
For sure.
There's a couple things. Go back to the Tom Ferry episode that we did, which is episode 67. I think we touch on the person who holds the lead is in control.
Absolutely.
They generated the lead. It happens to be your listing, but you don't have to send your listings to Realtor.com. You don't have to do that. You chose to do that. It's their platform. They own it. Now, if they generate a lead,
I mean, that would only be 30% on the buy side. I mean, you would rather, wouldn't you? I would rather get the lead and pay 30% than have them sent to another agent.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you're going to pay a tax. You're going to pay a fee. You're going to have commission compression, whatever you want to look at that on the buy side when you don't control the lead. Maybe you should invest in ClickFunnels that help you get the lead before Realtor.com. Maybe you just decide they have such a big spend that you're going to invest in content marketing and other ways to get that lead to come to you. The bottom line is what I'll tell you, Justin, is just go get more listings, okay? Get listings, control the inventory, control where the buyers have to go, and sometimes they are going to go through Realtor.com or sometimes they're going to go through Zillow. By the way, Jarek, Zillow's going to do the same thing. By the way, I think everybody's going to do the same thing, actually. I think all of the buyer leads are going to come to you, unless you create them directly, are going to come attached with a, not 30 to 35, a 40% referral fee, which I think will go up to 50 someday. So if you focus on
And
buyers,
they can, because there's going to be someone that says, hell yeah, like I'll take it for 50%.
Obsidy's converting right now.
Yeah.
If they sent us one today at 40, we would, we have a couple new agents that are looking to do deals, looking to get Zillow reviews.
Ryan's really doing well on Obsidy over there.
Looking
He's
to
doing
put
it
some
with
people through the
buyers.
pipeline.
Yeah.
40%, sure. When I'm building my career, on a team, need lead, whatever the case may be, you keep it moving. That's a referral source. That's a relationship. I don't think this is a racket. I think it was a great question, Jarek. Appreciate you watching the show. Hope you've subscribed too, by the way. And any other questions people want to send in, always send them into the comments. But yeah, it's not a racket, Jarek. All right, racket number 3. Airbnb to collaborate on a New York City hotel.
I'm actually
So
flabbergasted.
Here's what they're doing.
That it's taken this long.
They're partnering with a major New York City real estate developer, RXR Realty, to convert portions of New York City commercial properties into a new category of urban lodging. They're essentially hotel rooms that can be booked through the Airbnb platform only, right? So it's just it's going to be exclusive to there. And they're going to have like living rooms and kitchens, and so it's going to be a little bit more than your typical hotel room, but it's a hotel room,
right?
Through Airbnb,
right?
I think it's brilliant.
I love it. I actually, again, like I said, I'm surprised it hasn't happened sooner, but I feel like it already has happened. I feel like I ran into a buyer one time that said that she's like one of the last, like condo units that hasn't been converted into an Airbnb apartment in her building. I feel like she was down south somewhere, like New Orleans or something. I mean, why wouldn't you? I use Airbnb. Like, I love it. It's actually cheaper than hotels. 99.9% of the time, too.
Absolutely. If you think about what's happening, too, like a lot of the stuff is the same we've always dealt with, meaning YouTube is a platform that is, if you boil it down, similar to any other TV show. You have more options and you have more searchability and all that stuff. I get it. But now they're running commercials just like, any TV channel. What if they are a channel?
Yeah.
Airbnb got a bunch of attention, and what are they? A place where you book short-term stays, like a hotel.
Yeah.
It is obvious for them to go into a traditional hotel space.
Right.
Even buy up premier locations, make that a showcase for what Airbnb and their style and their connection to people is all about. It absolutely makes a ton of sense.
Well, and it's sort of to bounce off of that too. Like every time I look for an Airbnb, you sort of look for something that like is not in your area, like style wise or like location wise, because it really is. It's an experience.
Do you
Airbnb
compare? Will you go on Airbnb and then start to compare the hotel opportunities?
I don't even do the hotel. I don't even go.
If you're going Airbnb, you're like, I just want the Airbnb.
Yeah, the only time, again, because I've been traveling with St. Jude. I mean, the only time that I do the hotel is just because like it's with St. Jude and that's what they sort of cover on that end. But if I'm hopping into like a city, I've looked at hotels just to compare prices, but I mean, you can stay in Airbnb for like $70. I mean, even with like a $25 cleaning fee, I mean, you have the kitchen, but it's more of like the experience. Like, cool. Like I've never been in like a downtown city flat, or like when I was in like Austin, it was like this super I mean, it was sick. Like, and I never would have experienced like even just being within that community. I mean, you go into a hotel and like you're not involved in it, right?
You can wake up in a hotel and be like, okay, am I in Austin?
Exactly.
Am I in San Diego? Where am I?
Yeah, and it's funny. So when I stayed in Dallas this last time. It's funny though because on the Airbnb write up, it was actually saying like no parties, like no photography. So it almost seems like these people are actually like almost renting out these spaces for like for video, like video shoots and photo shoots and stuff. So
for sure.
It's interesting. That's the first time that I've ever read it, but clearly in that city, in that location, like, video people, photographers, I don't know, Swab, are you doing Airbnbs for your video shoots? Yeah. So, yeah. So again, and you had to get, and if we were going to be using it for that purpose, like we had to get like consent. I'm sure they probably charge you more. I mean, it was all just, it's so interesting where it's all going, because it's not just like a place for you to sleep anymore. It's a place for you to
host a meeting.
Yeah.
Have a dinner.
Right.
Yeah.
Anything. Again, video something. If it's a really sick spot, like this one actually had like a rooftop deck. So it's like, I mean, it would have been a really great location for like a video
cocktail
shoot.
hour for, all that kind of stuff makes sense
Now
to
we're
me.
thinking it's probably, maybe we just do, we should just like, that should be like our rent. Like get rid of our office spaces. We'll just like
host cocktails.
Airbnb when
You're
we
just
need
thinking
meetings.
about how many free drinks you can get. All right.
Well.
That's the show. Really appreciate you guys. Jarek, thanks for the question. Anybody it was kind of a question. The racket suggestion. If you got any suggestions for the next round of rackets, put it in the comments. Send us a DM. Send us an email. Whatever you want to do.
This was fun. I missed the white light.
Yeah.
2 weeks away. That's why you've been so tired. It's not vitamin D. It's the ring light deficiency.
The ring. Yeah.
Oh, I bet you feel good after today.
I'm sure. All right. Keep it real, guys. We'll talk to you next week.
Bye.